Should cars be banned from Golden Gate Park? The San Francisco Bicycle Coalition says the time is ripe. The group held a guided tour of Golden Gate Park today, focusing specifically on road closures proposed in Golden Gate Park's master plan. The document is currently being reviewed by the city's Department of Parks and Recreation. The Bicycle Coalition says automobiles create noise, danger, and are a general nuisance.
It really diminishes the quality of the park as a recreational resource, as a place where people can go and sort of escape the pressures of urban life and rejuvenate themselves.
Cars are already banned from the park on Sundays. The coalition wants to add Saturdays first. After that, they'll push for more closures.
And a nice day for a bike ride.
San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown made his first comments today regarding last night's unruly critical mass bicycle ride. For now, the mayor is taking a wait-and-see approach, saying that he needs to confer with police brass before revealing his next move. Greg Liggins is in San Francisco with a live report for us. Greg?
Well, Leslie, police say they will not tolerate the anarchy of last night, but at this point they aren't sure how they're going to handle critical mass in the future. Now, the monthly bike ride, which has no official organized body, turned into mayhem on the streets last night, even though the city pre-planned a route during discussions with a loosely organized group of cyclists representing critical mass. Now, Mayor Brown says last night's chaos has hurt the reputation of city cyclists.
I think that the citizens of this city are so disgusted and so offended by the incredible display of arrogance and indifference that it'll be hard, I suspect, for anybody on that side to gain any credibility.
This is one example of the confrontations that took place on the streets. Cyclists were displaying their power in numbers, while drivers were stuck and frustrated.
We had numerous radio broadcasts of assaults on motorists, cars being kicked.
There were also at least 250 arrests, like this one at the intersection of Howard and Essex. A group of cyclists stormed officers trying to block the entrance to the Bay Bridge.
What you saw tonight was a conspiracy, basically, to disrupt traffic and to assault folks.
Today, the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition denounced the chaos of critical mass.
There's obviously a lot of frustration about there being too many cars in San Francisco. The SFBC does not believe that the behavior of some people Friday night was a productive way to express this frustration.
Some cyclists say they are now turned off by critical mass and feel the event has shed all cyclists in a bad light. This rider says he spent his day trying to show people some cyclists are responsible.
I've been making an extra effort all day long to make a full stop everywhere I go, to obey all the laws, because I really believe in bicycles. But what critical mass is doing is just antagonizing the city government, antagonizing motorists, and antagonizing me as an urban bicyclist. And I don't want any part of it.
But there's a contingent of cyclists who see last night as a success in their fight to show drivers bicyclists deserve equal rights to the roads.
Oh, well, of course it helped. I mean, it's true anarchy, you know.
And that certainly was the case last night. Now, police are going to be compiling a report detailing all the events that occurred last night. That report will be forwarded to the mayor and then all of the groups, the police, the mayor, and representatives from the cyclists, the cycling community, are all going to get together and try to figure out what to do about critical mass. Now, we know police have a meeting scheduled with cyclists on Tuesday, but at this point it's unclear if the police report will be finished by then. Leslie?
Okay, Greg Liggins. Thank you, Greg.
Live from the news leader in Northern California, News Center 4 at 5. Here's the very latest.
Critical mass, they may do it all again, believe it or not, and sooner than we thought. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Heenan.
And I'm Tom Sinkovitz. San Francisco officials haven't yet decided on their response to Friday's critical mass mayhem, and the issue might have to be put on the back burner now. Some bicyclists have decided not to wait until next month for their next demonstration. They are calling for more rides in the city tomorrow. So is the city making any plans this time? Let's go to News Center 4's Wallace Alvear, who is live at Justin Herman Plaza. Wallace.
Well, Tom, a daily critical mass is the talk on the street, and if it happens tomorrow, it'll begin right here at Justin Herman Plaza. For the past 5 years, this has been the staging ground for critical mass, but as we all know, Friday's critical mass was a meltdown, ending in more than 200 arrests. It'll be the topic of discussion for a couple of weeks, but in the meantime, at least one faction is planning to step up critical mass and take it to a whole new level. Imagine critical mass every day. Hundreds, if not thousands, of bicycles taking over the streets of San Francisco on a daily basis. That's what this flyer posted at Justin Herman Plaza on the Embarcadero is calling for, starting tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Tim Henry, a regular supporter of critical mass, didn't quite know what to make of the poster.
I have not much time to think about it. I haven't talked to people about it. I'm not sure what the strategy is. You know, what I don't want to see is more people fighting, because I just feel like that polarizes everybody. And we're already polarized. I feel the best thing is if we get massive people demonstrating peacefully.
A daily critical mass was also news for Paul Dorn, an active member of the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition.
There have been Friday-only mini-masses where people leave from work, and it's smaller groups, and they obey the traffic signals and stuff like that. And so I think this is probably just another, manifestation of that.
But Dorn says the coalition is organizing a separate ride tomorrow morning at 7:30, starting at DuBose Park down Market Street. He says the ride is an effort to diffuse Friday's chaos and get back to the original purpose and spirit of critical mass.
Most cyclists in San Francisco are just ordinary working people who, like anybody else, is just looking for the fastest, easiest, cheapest way to get from their homes to their jobs.
And people traveling in small groups on bicycles, we have no problem with that. In fact, we even encourage that.
But Captain Dennis Martell has reservations about the critical mass scheduled for the evening.
At this point, we have absolutely no idea how many people might respond to that poster, but we're certainly going to gear up and prepare a plan of action, and we're certainly not going to allow wholesale violations of the traffic laws or any type of disorderly conduct.
Now, Captain Martell couldn't give us any specifics on what type of action the department is planning today to take if this critical mass happens tomorrow. He says talks are planned with Mayor Brown and the Board of Supervisors this week to try and come up with a citywide policy to critical mass. Tom?
All right, Wallace, to clear up any confusion at all, the plan is to have these bicycle rides tomorrow morning and evening. Is that accurate?
That's right. Tomorrow morning, a small faction with the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition are planning to ride down Market Street, a small number, I'm told, and the police don't have any problems with that as long as they keep to the rules of the road.
And speaking of a lot of traffic, San Francisco took another run today at working out a truce with the critical mass bicycle ride. But this time, the mayor was nowhere in sight. Mayor Willie Brown has talked about cracking down on the cyclists, but after they boycotted his meeting yesterday, he bailed out of today's. The next ride is this Friday, and a record number of cyclists are expected. Channel 7's Leanne Melendez is live now at City Hall. Leanne?
Well, gentlemen, right now both sides are meeting behind closed doors to discuss, of course, critical mass and how to deal with all the traffic expected on Friday. Now, let's show you pictures of that meeting between bicycle advocate groups and City Hall officials happening right now, right at this moment. Mayor Willie Brown, as you mentioned, not present tonight. Yesterday, the mayor had asked Supervisor Michael Yaki to take over the negotiations. Supervisor Yaki wants to focus on how to make this event easier on everyone, bikers and commuters. Now, bicyclists are hoping these talks will help them get their issues across. Show you that report of what happened today between the commuters and the bicyclists.
Leanne, I don't know if you can hear me, but Leanne, we're having some difficulty getting your taped piece right now. We'll try to get that in just a little bit, and then we'll hopefully go back to Leanne. Well, I think we've straightened out our technical problems now. We are able to get Leanne Melendez's story. She, of course, is talking about today's critical mass bicycle ride meeting at City Hall, and Leanne is live once again at City Hall. Hey, Leanne.
Hey, right now, let me just tell you, they're meeting behind closed doors here at City Hall, the bicyclists and, of course, City Hall officials. Now, let's show you what transpired today.
One more bite.
A critical bunch of bicyclists made it to City Hall to defend their only means of transportation. The group called the Bicycle Coalition will participate in the critical mass ride. So far, its members have gotten the city's attention.
The real issue is making transportation accessible, affordable, available, and attractive for everyone in this city.
On their wish list, safer streets for cyclists, including wider bike lanes. The leaders of the group will also ask City Hall officials to organize a summit to discuss other ways to get around in San Francisco.
Bicycles, walking, skateboarding, skating, something other than automobiles.
Supervisor Michael Yaki has taken over the critical mass talks and welcomes a summit. But for now, his attention is focused on solving the traffic knots caused by the event.
My first priority is making sure that the commute on Friday is not a nightmare.
This Friday's critical mass is expected to bring in a record number of bicyclists, perhaps more than 3,000, clogging the city during rush hour.
I have to obey traffic laws. I don't see why anybody else should be exempt from obeying traffic laws.
While drivers are bracing themselves for Friday's critical mass, the city has come up with a tentative solution.
We want appropriate breaks. We want to make sure that commuters are well aware of what alternatives there are, and we'll make sure that we put out the appropriate resources to direct traffic to make people get home on time.
It's a far cry from last week's tough stance initially taken by Mayor Brown, who promised a crackdown on critical mass. But Supervisor Yaki said the mayor realized it's all a matter of give and take.
Sometimes you have to threaten to get people to talk. We're talking now, and hopefully we can resolve it.
Even Willie Brown isn't invincible.
Hear, hear. Now, as the city prepares for Friday's event, another group is presenting, here it is, introducing Monday morning critical mass. Yet another ride planned for each and every Monday, it says here. They ride to the Ferry Building starting at 7:30 a.m. on Mondays. They promise that this one is going to be much smaller. But I ask you, Terrell, isn't that how San Francisco's Friday version of critical mass started? Let's brace ourselves.
Yeah, it was supposed to be just a little ride to draw attention to the needs of cyclists, and now it's just huge.
Yeah,
that's right.
From a trickle to a stream. All right, Leanne, thanks very much.
Thanks, Leanne. Still to come tonight, the Bay Area landmark that will fall to the wrecking ball tomorrow.